Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Kelly and this is the Rise and Shine Homestead. This is my second garden tour and I'm pretty excited to show you everything that's happening, although it's not a lot, but still excited. So come on, take a walk with me. So this is kind of the raised garden. These are the zucchinis. Well, I guess this is more like a patty pan. I feel like it hasn't really grown much in like the 11 days that since the last one. But I guess zucchinis and squash don't really like to be transplanted, so maybe that's why they're just kind of being really slow. But peas here, they're all kind of planted at different times and they're different types. I also have some that I sowed directly here, but I don't really see anything coming up yet. It's been still quite cool. Actually, the lettuces look like they've been loving it. There's definitely like more leaves on these guys than there was last time. I could probably even start maybe taking a couple here and there. Oh, well, this is new. So these guys are all radishes that I sowed, and they seem to be coming up okay here. That's good. And then this is like a broccoli that I transplanted, and they seem to be liking it out here a bit more. So that's pretty exciting. What else do we have? These are noodle beans that I transplanted, hoping that they will kind of start climbing up this arbor. And in here is the arugula that didn't really like whatever I did to it. Pretty dark, I haven't even tasted it. Doesn't look that appetizing to me. Spinach. I think these are actually trying to bolt now. I don't know, is that surprising to have the spinach thinking about bolting? Maybe not. I thought I saw some with flowers. I mean, our nights they get down to like about 6 degrees Celsius and our days aren't really over 20. And this is generally a pretty shady spot, so I'm a little surprised that some things are struggling. Oh, the radishes here look good. You can see all of these like little clusters. These are all different types of radishes. They're French breakfast radishes. Planted those about 11-12 days ago. And then these big ones here are cauliflowers that I've started, and hopefully they'll take over once the radishes are done. And then the strawberries are looking beautiful. Maybe I shouldn't actually have the net on them so that they can be pollinated. But there's been a lot of flowers. And it looks like some of them maybe are gonna start bearing fruit, and we still have like a lot of flowers coming. Yeah, maybe I'll take this off. I feel like the strawberries need to be pollinated. Over here, there's a sunflower cluster, seems to be doing okay. Another squash that's taking its time. The cucumbers, I feel like they're struggling. I knocked one over. There's one right here that doesn't look so great. I also directly sowed some, so maybe those ones I directly sowed will come back up. Yeah, we'll have to see. And all in here are beans, and I've kind of started to see the first ones looking like they're gonna start raising their heads out. Kale, radishes. I think it's probably time for me to get these radishes picked. I'll show you them in here. Oh yeah, those are pretty big. That's a nice sized radish. Wow, they have quite the roots on them. Maybe I'll leave those two for just a little longer. What do we have over here? So these ones I multi-sowed. Seem to be doing like okay. Oh, they look pretty good. There's one little lone one here that's tiny. I don't know if he'll grow. I've kind of disturbed him quite a bit now. I'll leave that guy too. These ones are a tiny bit smaller. Oh, I wonder if this is a different kind. It's a little longer. I will leave those ones too. Oh, that's pretty good. Nice handful of radishes. So I'm not the biggest like raw radish fan in the world, but I heard that you can actually like bake them, and so I've kind of chopped them up finely and put them into my like just sauteed vegetables around, like, which is like elder kale and a little bit of like olive oil and salt and pepper, and that even like really takes away some of like that peppery, I don't know, spiciness, I guess you would say, and they're pretty good that way. So if you're not a big radish like lover of raw radishes and you have all these radishes growing, maybe try that out, see if that tastes like any better to you. And I like radishes because they have been like generally really like forgiving, and they grow really fast, which is like super encouraging, especially because I haven't done a lot of gardening before. And so it's kind of nice to have something that actually like comes up and grows and you can harvest it and eat it. So I like radishes, and I'm glad I found a way that I can actually eat them. I feel like these Scarlet Runner beans are kind of just starting to like actually do something. Like, see, we got like a little tendril starting to come up, so that's really encouraging. Yeah, I am like really looking forward to having these arbors. I'm really looking forward to having these arbors like filled with like runners of beans and flowers, and I think it'll be really pretty. I've been harvesting rhubarb. I've like got 2 really good harvests so far out of these 4 plants. And you can see there's like tons of like leaves still coming in here. And so I think it's good. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like it's good to take off the big leaves so that the incoming ones have sunlight so that they can also grow. Another zucchini. This one is a yellow zucchini, which I haven't ever had before. What's that? Oh, that's just a little leaf. Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if maybe, yeah. Here you can see that I have some grass here, and there's some grass over on this bed. I'm trying to use that as like a mulch, so these are just like grass clippings. And yeah, I thought I would try that out to see if it helps suppress the weeds. I also have a whole bunch of Douglas fir bark in this one as well that I put there originally to help also try to suppress some of the weeds, because these beds have been around for a long time and they kind of go, some years they're cared for more than others depending on just like how busy everyone is, and so there's some pretty well established weeds in them. And trying to get rid of those is pretty challenging. Oh, look at this! I planted some sunflower seeds here, and you can see we have some sprouts. All right. Go little sunflowers, go! Yeah, so that's like the raised garden bed garden. I'm really hoping those beans start to flourish. I'd really like to see those starting to poke their heads out. But I don't think it'll be for a little while. We've still got some cold nights in the future. And yeah, cold nights, mild days. Just have to be patient. I think that's probably one, I mean, I don't know, but I assume that's one of like the harder things about gardening is patience. You know, things take time. The weather needs to be favorable for things to grow fast, and when it isn't, it will be slow, and I think you just have to be patient. And I mean, if they don't grow, they don't grow, and maybe you can try re-sowing. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. All right, off to the other gardens on this beautiful sunny day. One thing I'm excited about is that all of the wild roses are getting ready to bloom. I call this our like wild rose garden. And they're all going to be starting pretty soon, so that's nice. Quite excited. Oh, one last thing I want to show you over here at this garden is this flower head that had the multicolors. So like, this is one stem on the right here, and there are 2 colors of flowers on it. Man, these lilacs are like really beautiful. I've never really seen these before, and recently I've they're here, and my mom has come across them, but like those like, that 2-tone, oh, it's beautiful. All right, we are at the brush pile garden. Some things are kind of happening. We'll take a look, show you around. Looks like a lot of weeds right now. But we got some life. Maybe I'll show you these onions that I planted over here. The sets. You can see that there's little, yeah, coming along. Looks like they could use some weeding. There, we're gonna show you all along here. Yeah. And the potatoes, most of the varieties have started now. These are the Russian blue. They've come along really good, actually. And then these are red thumb potatoes here. Lots of them. I kind of read afterwards on the internet that the red thumb potatoes actually kind of have the worst taste, which isn't. We got a bunch of them, so hopefully they're not that bad, of like the potatoes with the red centers. These are Chieftain, they're a little smaller. The Russian blue right here, the Russian blue right here, and then the red thumb back there. Those ones had like the longest like little sprouts starting. And then the rest of these had much smaller ones when we planted them. I think that shows in kind of their size that these are a lot smaller. Let's see what ones we have. So we have Caribe. And Barbie, Yukon Gold, Gold Rush Russet, Red Thumb, there's Kennebec. Can't remember what else. But yeah, look at this guy. Wow. Looking good. These are the sugar snap peas. I feel like they're bigger than they were last time. They're definitely like starting to get tall. Eventually I have to figure out a way that I want to trellis these, but I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that. And these ones, man, I'm like so surprised at how well these did. The Miragolia d'Italia. These seeds are probably like 7 years old, and I planted them really not knowing, like not expecting much. I thought they were definitely all gonna just like, maybe a couple of them would come up, but they like seem really, really good. I'm surprised. The peas rocked. The old peas did well. The old carrots though that I planted, less so. So these are the new carrots. You can see, wow, there's a lot there. Probably need to thin those out. These are red cord chanties here in these two kind of rows. And then I had red cord chanties that were old seeds kind of starting here. And I mean, maybe that's one. I don't really see as many of them coming up. And I planted those at the same time. And then here are some more carrots that I planted a little later on. So these are hybrid tender sweet longs. And so there's carrots on either side here. And then I did radishes in the center because that's what my grandma suggested. Because the carrots take so long and the radishes make you feel a little bit better about yourself. So yeah, tender sweet long hybrids there. And then red cord Danvers here. I don't really see anything starting on those ones yet either. So we'll have to see. And then this is a type of potato, but I don't know what kind of potato. I'm calling them Marietta's Finnish potatoes. Whether they're actually from Finland, I'm not sure. And here, all the beans I planted. Let's take a look. Do I see? Nope, I don't really see any sprouts. And I think I planted these like 10 days ago now. I think our weather's just been not ideal for germinating things. Pretty cold. So yeah, don't see much going on there. But these transplanted beans, I mean, they're doing something. I wonder if they'll start. I mean, there's some new growth there. And I'll show you the squashes. Also look like they benefit from a little weeding. I think these are starting to grow after transplanting. I mean, there's some new leaves coming in. We'll take a look. I also planted a whole bunch more of the squash, like directly sowed them. We'll see if we see any of those coming up. No, I don't really see any squashes showing their heads yet. Let's see what else we have going on. Take a look around. Oh, there's a little frog. He's hiding under the board. Hello, friend. There you are. Are you gonna eat all the bugs for me over here? The mosquito Here, I'll put you back in the shade. You probably prefer that. Yeah, so just kind of, I think in next week we start seeing some warmer weather, and hopefully that will kind of help things germinate and really get flourishing. What do we have here? We have, oh, I have the okra. So these are the little starter plants that I did for the okra. And then also, is that one right there? Yes, look. The first okra showing its head. Little sprout. I'm not even really sure if I like okra. I've had it a few times. I wasn't able to cook it correctly. So, anyway, we're giving it a shot. I hear the flowers on okra are really beautiful, so even if I don't like the vegetables themselves that much, at least I can like enjoy the flowers and they will be beautiful. Yeah. What else do we have here? Oh, the corn at the corn patch. So these are the corn that I transplanted, and I mean, they actually seem like they handled that transplanting really well. They don't seem stunted, and they have some like new leaves starting in here. See that little guy in there? Yeah. And then in the rest of these mounds, I directly sowed some more corn. So there'll be 2 different ages, and I hope that doesn't mess up the fertilization of the flowers. Hoping they'll still be okay. But I don't see any of those showing their heads yet. They're sprouting. And you know, like, I guess when I like kind of feel this soil, it's cool. It's not really warm inside. I have a couple mounds here for delicata squash, because that one said it was a bushing squash rather than a trailing squash, but I don't see any of those germinating yet. And then I did the other onions over here, so there's more onion sets in this bed. And I mean, some of them, they seem to like have taken pretty well. There's definitely a green growth on them, so that's exciting. Hopefully we'll actually get some like fairly good sized onions. And then here, this kind of row, this is more winter squash. I went hard on the winter squash. Really hoping we start seeing some of it. And actually, in this row of winter squash, I saved seeds from a bunch of squashes that I got from one of our favorite like fruit and vegetable stands. And I guess I've kind of read afterwards that like squashes can be kind of variable on saving seeds, just because there's male and female flowers and the pollinators tend to travel between the flowers, and so you can get crosses between your squashes. So I did plant some spaghetti squash and some acorn squash and some Turkish turbans from this like local fruit and vegetable stand, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that they'll still be pretty good, or maybe, who knows, maybe I'll end up with something that's like crazy, like a Turkish turban crossed with a spaghetti squash. I mean, who knows what that's going to be like, but yeah. But I feel like they're a pretty big establishment, and they probably have things planted in the same areas, so there's a good chance that it was pollinated with the same variety. But yeah, it doesn't really look any of these are coming up either. Patience. Must have patience. Alright, so I'll go show you the pig pen garden. Alright, we are at the pig pen garden. You can see it is flourishing. These radishes are like over a foot tall. And they're not, I mean, it's mostly stem and not a lot of root, but holy, they are growing up. I just removed a bunch of grass from around this area, and the mosquitoes didn't really like me disturbing their habitat. Now there's tons of mosquitoes. I don't know, does anyone else struggle with mosquitoes? Got lots of kale. I've been like picking this. You can see it's still putting out new leaves. This is the spinach that I noticed was starting to bolt. There we go. What do you guys think? Should I just let it go, or do I take these off and hope that maybe I'll still get a few leaves? I'm not really sure what I should do there. And then the peas, I was kind of harvesting pea shoots from these, and they kind of settled, just stopped growing after I did one harvest, but now they seem like they're putting off new shoots. So maybe I can get some more of those. And the this side, I have some Swiss chard on this side, some lettuces. The beets seem like they're putting out some really nice leaves. I don't really see much development in terms of roots, but the leaves look good. And I've been harvesting the lettuce greens off of these. They're like super delicious. So, and the one nice thing about this radish being so tall is that it holds up the net. So like when I put this net back over, it keeps it off everything else, which is kind of like a side bonus I didn't expect. But I think the ground underneath this is pretty like fertile, because like the weeds in here are really flourishing enough so that they can poke through the cardboard. What do you find works? Can you, if you were to do like a no-dig garden, is it possible just to use one layer of cardboard and have it keep the weeds down, like suppress them underneath? Or do you guys use 2 layers of cardboard? I think I need to use 2. I feel like these weeds are pretty persistent and they're poking through, and in both of my gardens, especially like the dandelions and some of the grasses and the fireweed, 1 layer of cardboard does not deter them. No, they are tenacious. They want their sunlight. Anyway, yeah, well, unfortunately, still not going to see the potato garden. Too muddy down there. And yeah, there's been more bear sightings in the area, so I don't really feel like walking down there. But until next time, thank you for coming along with me today, and yeah, look forward to talking to you in the future. All right, bye.